Hello and welcome back. This is MC1 Gamer, bringing you a little bit of a preview on a new game. Well, not a new game, an old game that's, seems to still be played in various local game stores. And it's called Mordheim, and this is my Warband. I was interested in doing maybe Undead because I have so much stuff that's actually built, converted, and, a good deal of stuff that's already painted up that I could use. But I didn't really like the Undead list. I played it before, back when Mordheim was more current and more recent, when people were playing it much more regularly, and when it was on the store shelves. And I didn't like the Undead. Since then, some net lists have come out, ones that include maybe like a Graveguard hero, a White King as your general, as opposed to the Vampire. I think that the Vampire is powerful, but I didn't want to. I just there's something about the fluffiness of the Vampire that I don't want. I mean, it's just overdone, and I wanted to try and do something different. But my local game store has a campaign they do every summer. They started up in the late spring, and I didn't want to wait. I know that Nick from Long Island Gaming has been posting a lot of stuff about his ongoing and now resurged Mordheim campaign, and both Anthony and I have been watching and talking about, hey, this looks good. It's probably a way we can use our models if some of this stuff gets squatted in ninth. But I decided, you know what, hey, I have all these dwarf things that I bought for a huge army, and I haven't even put 99% of it is still in the boxes with seal wrap, and the rest are bits. And I figured, let me mash up some guys and make up a warband for dwarves. And so I haven't played them before. I played them obviously as in Warhammer Fantasy. I still have one more battle report, my final one from the recent tournament. But I never played them, of course, in Mordheim. And this is what I'm painting up. So this is going to be what I'm going to pledge for the PMP, the Painters Motivating Painters on Google Plus. That is kind of an extension of the Warhammer YouTubers. And I'm going to be painting this up. This is going to be my pledge for the month of January. So I have my Dwarf Noble. I'm using this as, even though I have some metal models that are good for engineers, I wanted this to be more appropriate with what they're going to be using, and I can always revert this back to just a regular Thunderer, but this is going to be my engineer. My engineer is going to be using a handgun. I've got 2 Thunderers with crossbows. I've got 2 Beardlings, which they have pistols. And the theory on this is, I have my nobles really decked out. He's got to be like about, he's over 200 points. He's got Gromrel armor with a shield, which means he's a base 4-up, now a 3-up. He's got a pistol, which I don't have modeled. I thought about putting one on him. I have a loose one, but it's so big in comparison to the dwarf that it's almost, I think it's longer than his arm. It would probably stick out over his back, and it just didn't look right. I didn't want to just slap it there. I figured, I thought about converting something where it might be sticking out of a pocket, but it was hanging from his belt. You pretty much scraping the floor. So I figured I'd forego some of those details. But he's got a pistol, which is going to be a big help, because even in combat, he's got a dwarf axe, so he can parry. So in combat, hand-to-hand, I figured, I can go with the dwarf axe and a shield, or the pistol and a shield for the first turn, because I still have parry with the shield. Or I can go with the axe and the pistol. The pistol's only going to give me that extra stuff in one round. The nice thing about the pistol is it's strength 4. The dwarf axe is at the strength of the character, and until I start leveling him up, he only has a strength 3. The starting warband's very modest. You have to have somewhere to go with the experience. So in any case, this is my Dwarf Noble. He seems to be he hasn't been hitting the weights, so he's decided to go out and go on an adventure and start building up his statistics again. And but I gave him a pistol, not just for the nice enhancement for hand-to-hand, but also for just a little bit of range. But he's certainly very killy, and he's meant to run up. The Beardlings have nothing but pistols. I don't even think they have shields. And, I think I gave him a helm, too. But, these guys are really resilient when it comes to not being knocked out or being stunned and stuff like that. But a helm still helps, because it gives you pretty much a 4-up save if you do get stunned or knocked out or something like that. One of those two. But I have 2 Beardlings going to run up with him. And, hopefully these guys will XP up and they'll get a little better. But right now they're just going to run up, play a little interference for the Lord, who's meant to get into combat or do little pot shots shooting. These guys can only get one shot every other turn because they're black powder. So the way I'm going to do it is I'll alternate on them. I mean, I can do 2 and 1 or whatever, whatever the needs are. But I'll be able to get at least one shot off as I run up to get into hand-to-hand. The beardlings are just going to be screens. So the dwarf can get in there and do any hand-to-hand killing that it needs to do. Or achieve objectives and shoot. I've got 2 thunderers that have crossbows, and they're naked otherwise. They have nothing else. And that's because these are my long-range artillery. They're meant to just shoot from a standoff position. They're moving fire. They've got, I think, a 30-inch range. They're not armor-piercing, which is unfortunate. But you know what? This is, for the most part, there's not a lot of armor in the game. And then even the armor that's out there, it's usually the best, maybe 3 up with, like a Grommel armor with a shield. You're not really going to do that much better. So most of the best heavy armor and shield types are going to be 4 up. So you're going to see a lot of 5 ups and a lot of 6 ups or even, bare naked. So they'll get their shots off. And I think they'll be able to snipe stuff. And the most important thing here is this guy. This is my engineer. His ability, none of the experience points, I guess, can be spent before you actually start your warband. But his ability is huge. His ability is innate. I don't really care for the noble's ability. His noble's ability is for, anybody within 6 inches can use his leadership. Everybody's leadership 9. He's leadership 9. They're leadership 9. He's leadership 9. They're leadership 8. So that's why they're going to run up with him. But leadership 8, it's not 10. It's not rerollable. There's no standard bearers. But so that's a benefit. That's why they're going to go and run up with him. But that re-rollable, that using my leadership 9 when you're already a 9, most of the dwarves are 9s, is kind of a waste. But the dwarf noble, I think will make up for it in other ways. But this engineer is just he's what makes this warband really work. I gave him a handgun. I didn't give him anything else because he's going to stay back and help snipe with the long range guys. Now his range is 24 inches. It's not quite as long as the thunderers with the. It's hard for me to say thunderers, but with the thunderers in Mordheim, but I think of them as quarrelers because those are the ones that have crossbows. But in any case, my crossbowmen, my crossbow dwarves, the engineer gives a nice innate ability to enhance the range of all of your shooting, most of your shooting. It's if you have pistols, they increase by 3 inches, and if you have crossbows or handguns, they increase by 6 inches. That's enormous. That means these guys who already have a 30-inch range have a 36-inch range, which is great. He might go for some of the shorter objectives, but I want him to stay back because if he disappears, then that extra bonus goes away. And but he now has a 30-inch range because his base is 24, and that's great. And all the other pistols, 2 pistols there, a pistol here, all the other pistols add an extra 3 inches, which I think brings them to 9 inches, which is great because they're meant to go run up and do some shooting as they're running. As they're moving up, because if you run, you can't shoot. So, and then, of course, with heavy armor and shield, normally you would get a penalty of a -1 move, which is, with Stunties, it's already a base 3. So anybody else there is going to want to put on heavy armor and a shield is going to get neutralized, and they're going to be, reduced by 1, which means they'll be either back, 3, which is equivalent to the dwarves, or they'll be like, if they were like an elf, which moves very quickly at 5, would be reduced to a 4. Which is a little bit more reasonable. So that's good. That's why I want to have my guys in these heavy armors. I'll be able to capitalize on the nice defenses. So that's where a lot of my future growth is going to go. But that's the idea right now. Of course, every plan changes as soon as the first shot is fired. But that's the plan now. Run up with the dwarf noble and the beardlings, do some shooting along the way, and have some cover fire and sniping shots from the quarrelers and the engineer. And I like the engineer with a handgun because even though I'm sacrificing some distance, I do have the ability to, it's a strength 4 and it's armor piercing. So it's like double armor piercing. So anything with it that does have heavy armor is going to get punched through. So that's it. That's my Mordheim band. I'm going to start painting this up, and I have a game before I'll even probably get much paint on it. So just don't expect it to be all pristine and perfectly painted. But I'm going to probably do some speed painting. I'm not going to go crazy with these guys. I want to make them look good, but I just want to make them tabletop worthy, because this is just going to be a warband that I'm going to stick off to the side. And eventually I'll paint up maybe a Brett or a warband, or a and then you also use some of my existing undead guys for another warband. So I'll have a couple of warbands I can use for a couple of different types of campaign runs. But this will be my dwarf starter. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, suggestions, please feel free to leave them. If you are new to the channel and you want to subscribe, I mean, this is the first time I'm putting anything up for Mordheim, but a lot of the other stuff I do is bat reps from tournaments or local games, analysis, rumors that I hear. You know, I do a lot of looking around, and I put up any new stuff about, you know, Warhammer, and, you know, maybe some other games I might be moving into. That was my initial intention when I started the channel. And you know, humor, but you know, some hangouts, a lot of converting. I do a lot of converting. So if you're new to the channel, I have this series called Convert This. Obviously, no real converting here, just just putting stuff up with a couple extra bits. But yeah, check out the channel. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you will keep an eye out for some battle reports with Mordheim. Have a great day, everybody.